14th of July, and don't tell me this town ain't got no heart. Get more San Francisco than going to a Dead and Company show at the ballpark on a Friday night. That's what Jillian and I are doing. Looking forward to seeing one of the last ever kind of Grateful Dead shows. I mean, without Jerry, it's not the Grateful Dead. We all know that. But this is as close as you can get. I'm wondering what the Sunday night encore is going to be. Maybe bring out Phil for one more box of rain. You know, he doesn't tour with them anymore, but Phil can just get out there and do the box of rain. I don't know. I'm going to be emotional. I'd love an estimated profit. I'd love a fire on the mountain. Those feel like songs that I would say for the last show ever if I were the Grateful Dead. I don't know what they're going to be playing on Friday night. Going to be an interesting set list tonight. I'm in. Jillian and I are in. And we're so glad that you are into the Plus once again. Welcome back to the Damon Bruce Show. It's wonderful to have you here. It really is. And what do you know? Last night we saw Trayce Jackson Davis finally pull back the curtain on his NBA career. Well, at least the summer league portion of his career. And he was on a minutes restriction. But look, he had 14.7 rebounds, 4 of them offensive rebounds, an assist, a steal, a block in just 20 minutes. And folks, I hope you saw what I told you you might see when you see Trayce Jackson Davis. I'm sure several of you for the very first time. You're going to see a basketball player. You're going to see a guy who knows how to fit in on a basketball court. He knows where to be. He knows how to put his hip on an opponent. He knows how to use his feet. He is fundamentally sound. He uses his body. I mean, there's a guy who just knows how to play the game of basketball in Trayce Jackson Davis, and hopefully the Warriors can get a player out of him. I was impressed by what he did last night. I thought it was a very good debut for Trayce in a small sample size, but you saw someone who understands the court. Pacing, spacing, and just the sort of things that, let's face it, a group of Warriors rookies in just rookie class pasts didn't really have about them. They didn't have that, only to be learned through constant on-court reps because you played a lot of basketball before you reached the NBA. And look, this kid is a 23-year-old man. And he's seen it all, done it all on a basketball court, and he didn't look uncomfortable at all last night. The Warriors were, though, talking about having a team that could go and compete in Las Vegas for that Summer League title. And look, they're 0-4. That's not good. It's not necessarily a bad thing either. Summer League titles and $2.50 will get you a ride on Muni. So they're kind of worthless as it is. But you do want to see this team hopefully pick up one win. It's better than to be defeated. I didn't need an undefeated Summer League, but to be completely defeated, that's not very good. And look, Brandon Podziemski, I'm trying to see the glass half full. I really am. And there are moments to absolutely see that half full glass. He can see the floor. He can see the floor, but he also last night had 5 turnovers, and that's more turnovers than he had shots made. And on the standard of whatever standard we're holding our guards to, that does not meet anyone's standard. That wasn't very good. What was even worse for Podziemski is last night in that game, Houston, who picked right after the Warriors took Podziemski, they took Cam Whitmore. Now, Cam Whitmore is a guy whose medicals and apparently his poor interview process, and a lot of NBA teams said this kid is just immature, and we didn't like the way that he came across in his interview, and the medicals are less than 100%. So no on Cam Whitmore, and Cam Whitmore was a name that fell and fell and fell and fell and fell in this draft. He was there for the Warriors to take. They didn't take him. They took Podziemski. Well, the Houston Rockets took Cam Whitmore. And last night, after Mr. Santa Clara didn't have a particularly good game, couldn't help but notice that Cam Whitmore has been a total Summer League stud. He had 26 points, 4 rebounds and assists, and a Summer League record 8 steals last night. So, if you're looking for even less enthusiasm about Brandon Podziemski, just look at what Cam Whitmore, who could have been that Warriors pick, is doing. He looks very comfortable. Lester Quinones was uncomfortable last night. He was 0 for 9 from 3. Like, dude, you're just Lester Quinones. I understand it's a Summer League game, but you don't have a green light to the point where you can go 0 for 7 and think I can keep shooting. Shooters got to shoot. Lester, calm down. What I did like is that he had 8 points and 8 rebounds to go along with an embarrassing night from the floor. So that maybe means there's something to salvage there. But I don't want to hear that he is about to be the Jordan Poole replacement. Come on, stop it. But it was good to see. Really good to see Trayce Jackson-Davis last night. I'd been waiting for that one personally, and I'm glad that he did not disappoint. He did not explode off the screen. He's probably not going to be doing much of that this year, but serviceable minutes and not looking way over your skis is something the Warriors have gotten out of very few rookies. I think they're going to get it out of Trayce Jackson-Davis. I really, really do. One more NBA story, and it's an important one, so I need to share it with you right here now at the top of the show. Jimmy Butler's dating Shakira. Whatever, whenever, whenever, be together, Jimmy Buckets, you come here. Eastern Conference near. Jimmy Buckets is getting Shakira? The two spotted at a romantic dinner in London, cozying up with each other? Dude, Jimmy Buckets, Mr. Swipe Your Lady. That's impressive. Really is. I bet Rachel Nichols is happy there's somebody to just take her off the rumor page for a minute when it comes to Jimmy Butler. Do Shakira and Rachel Nichols look a little like each other? Not really. Anyways, go Jimmy. You didn't get the NBA Finals, but looks like you might be getting Shakira. It's not a bad offseason. It really isn't. By the way, I'd rather be at a Grateful Dead show tonight in San Francisco than a Shakira show anywhere. Just want to throw that out there. Baseball is back, but before we officially invite you to lean into the second half, I want to officially invite you to join this guy for lunch today. That man right there is Ike. He wants to feed you. He wants to feed everyone at your office. He wants to feed the whole world a delicious sandwich, and you can find one just by going to your phone and hitting the Ike's app. Yeah, you could go through like Uber Eats or DoorDash, or you could go just through Ike's app and earn sandwich reward points and eat for free down the road. Believe me, it's the way to go. Get yourself on that app. Find the Ike's nearest you and either show up and order it yourself or use that app to have yourself one of the most delicious sandwiches ever invented here on planet Earth. That is my guy, Ike. We've also got my guys, Uncle Boys. Uncle Boys, a delicious cheeseburger right from the inner Richmond, Balboa, and 4th. Get yourself an Uncle Boys burger. Get yourself the French fries. Get yourself the onion rings. And then do not forget, how often have you ever been in a burger spot and had even an option of lumpia? You got lumpia options. I suggest you exercise your lumpia option. When you are at Uncle Boys, you'll be happy that you did. Uncle Boys is fantastic. It's a San Francisco original, and I love it. You're going to want to get yourself a burger at Uncle Boys. Pick it up and enjoy one this weekend indeed. And speaking of picking it up and enjoying it, pick yourself up a bottle of blackened whiskey from my friends from another San Francisco band, Metallica. It is an incredible bottle of whiskey at a great price point. Find it at Bevmo. If where you buy your liquor doesn't carry blackened, you tell them. Order a case, and as a pluser, you will feel obligated to come on in and buy at least half that case. So go ahead and stock up on blackened. You'll be glad that you did. It is fantastic. It never disappoints. And look, how often do you say this about a baseball season? It's not disappointing. There's really nothing disappointing about this baseball season if we can just remove any and all Oakland A's anxiety from the equation here in the Bay Area, which is very hard to do because that anxiety is well-founded and well-earned. Baseball, in spite of the A's, and this is what makes this interesting. I saw in Forbes this morning that the league is seeing rosy numbers in television viewership, digital streaming, audience, actual people buying tickets and showing up to games, and there is a shift now to a younger demographic. Baseball's getting out of its 50s and into the 40s, so an audience getting a little bit younger coming back to watch baseball. And what is amazing about that, after baseball's been on at least an attendance decline over the last 9 years, what's great about all of that And this sucks for A's fans, but what's kind of incredible for baseball is you figured that to have the entire sport trending up in just about every single measurable metric out there, that all 30 teams would be pulling on the rope in the same direction. One of them, the Oakland A's, is decidedly not. The game plan of the Oakland A's wasn't to get those fans back. It was to drive them away and keep them away. So the fact that percentages of attendance and viewership and tickets sold are up across all of Major League Baseball, with one of the franchises actively working against that, is pretty impressive. And it just makes you want to say out loud at the top of your voice, fuck John Fisher. And boy, does he deserve that. A little too early for the sip of the day. We'll get there, though. Baseball second half begins officially this afternoon. We got 5 divisions where the first place team has a 2-game lead or less when you factor in tiebreakers. Again, we kind of went over this yesterday, but it's worth going over again because that first half was very tight, very competitive, and hopefully that's what we get in the second half. The Braves are running away with the National League East. They're probably not going to come back to the pack, but the Rays are right there with the Orioles behind them in the AL East, and we know that we are not done with the New York Yankees. They're not going anywhere, and the Toronto Blue Jays are pretty good. The Guardians got a half-game lead over the Twins in the AL Central. The Rangers are 2 games up on the Astros. You got the Reds a game up on the Brewers in the Central. In the National League in the West is a very interesting race. Right now, you got the Dodgers and Diamondbacks on top. The Giants are just 2.5 back. It feels like those Padres are lurking. So we got ourselves a really interesting second half of a baseball season coming up here. And we all know that the Giants, they need to do something, right? Well, the something that they need to do is continue to embrace this youth movement and making sure that guys are coming up and contributing that they have in their own farm system. Or they need to use some of those assets to trade for the player that could be a difference maker, either as a starting pitcher or another outfielder or infielder, whatever Farhan deems he needs the most. There are 2 guys who could maybe help him get that, and it's coming. I saw that Alex Pavlovich was saying that Elio Ramos can be back on a big league roster come July 18th after he hit the 60-day IL with that oblique problem of his. Well, he's been playing minor league baseball, waiting to just get back up. Like he's ready to start playing again, but that 60-day DL stint wipes out the ability to bring him back before the 18th. So he's playing in Sacramento, and he was just named the Pacific Coast League's Player of the Week for the final stretch of the first half. He went 14-29 over 6 games with 4 homers, a triple, and 4 doubles. Okay, that's good. Good to see Elio either doing that to show the Giants that he can show up and help, or he's a piece to be traded for help. And you know what? Joey Bart doesn't seem to have much of a place in the Giants' long-term plans anymore. Could he possibly be used to trade for a player that could help you through your second half? Well, he just hit 3 home runs during a 10-game hitting streak. So Joey Bart is coming on in the minor leagues. Ramos is getting better. This is good news to either be used as players or used as pieces. I saw ESPN's power ranking about the second half, projecting that the Giants are on track for an 87-75 season. Now, that's not going to get them the division. They've got about a 13% chance, according to ESPN, to win the National League West, but they got a 62% chance of earning a spot in the postseason. So you better conduct business according to that. The Giants, without some sort of terrible collapse, are going to be a playoff team. The Giants' matchup-heavy approach, as it's written in this ESPN piece, has been pitching in pretty decent shape. Heading into the second half, Logan Webb and Alex Cobb have combined for a 3.05 ERA in 35 starts. But aside from that, Anthony DeSclafani Besides from Logan Webb, Alex Cobb, and Anthony DeSclafani, no Giants starter has reached 60 innings. So they've been bullpenning an awful lot. They've been taxing their bullpen an awful lot. They got three guys who are absolutely doing it for them in their bullpen, Camilo Duvall and the Rogers twins. That trio's combined for a 2.62 ERA and a 105 whip in their first half appearances. But no other Giants reliever has seen 30 appearances but those guys. So they need to get more out of either what? Stripling, Alex Wood is a starter, Sean Manaea, Jacob Junis coming out of that bullpen. I think that, you know, a guy like Keaton Wynn is someone we're about to see an awful lot more of. Again, like Sean Manaea, Ross Stripling, you two guys either got to figure it out or you got to get the hell out of the way. Is this team, will the Giants call up Kyle Harrison in the second half? You know, there's an awful lot about the workload that he hasn't been through. That to me isn't an indication that he's not about to be called up. It's an indication that he could be called up because you're going to burn some major league innings in this guy that you've been decidedly not burning through in the minor leagues. So it feels like there is a plan to do that. You know, that is someone who could either be an opener, a straight up starter. You're asking to go 5-6 innings. He could be a bullpen guy. He could, I don't care how you use Kyle Harrison. If he's as unhittable as some of his minor league appearances have suggested, getting him up here feels like a really good idea. And when you talk about what needs to really happen for the Giants to come together in the second half, their pitching needs to figure itself out, find its own level, iron itself out, whatever you want to say there. And let's be honest, the resurgence of the Giants in what seemed to be kind of a dead-on-arrival year started with their youth movement by bringing up Casey Schmidt and Patrick Bailey and Luis Matos. And either Schmidt or Matos, right? Either one of those two guys, because it's at the point where Patrick Bailey, like, I'm expecting him to just keep producing. Like, Patrick Bailey looks like the Giants starting catcher for the next decade. He looks fantastic. He looks like he's Posey. Straight up. That's an awful lot to put on a young catcher, but he looks like he's Posey. He is in command of that catcher spot. Either Matos or Schmidt needs to get back to the hot start that they were having for this thing to really threaten the National League West, for the Giants to really not just be labeled as contenders, but to really earn the title of contender. Schmidt or Matos need to just get back on that we might be something special horse. They're good. They're serviceable. They're producing as rookies. The league has made an adjustment back to them, and we've seen their hitting taper off. Time for one of those guys to make an adjustment back to the league. If one of those two rookies, Schmidt or Matos, at the end of this year has the kind of year that makes you think, man, awesome rookie year from one of those guys, Giants are going to do something this postseason. I don't know what that something is. Any step to the postseason begins with the first game of the second half. That is tonight. That is in Pittsburgh. It is an 11-game road trip for the Giants to open their second half. And it's going to be Ross Stripling with another chance to show that he belongs against old man Rich Hill. That is how the Giants begin their second half in Pittsburgh. I really don't want to talk about the A's and what their second half is going to be because we know what it's going to be. It's going to be depressing. It's going to suck. I will tell you this, that next year's schedules have come out, and, oh, what do you know? The A's are playing in Oakland. At least that's what Major League Baseball thinks. So are you ready to go through the rest of this year and all of next year? It's the topic that never ends. They never commit to Oakland. They never leave Oakland. But I know that there's a lot of traction that they will this time around. Sure, there always has been. There probably always will be. It never happens. I had a great conversation last night with JT the Brick. Boy, it's an interview. I think if you're an old school radio fan here in San Francisco, you're gonna like an awful lot. There's so much that ties JT and I's careers together. He's always been a real mentor in my career. We have shared the same studios, the same microphones. The same teams that we have covered are linked, not only because we both covered them when they were here, but obviously a lot of the teams that we both covered here picked up and left for the town that he is now in. You know, if the A's join the Raiders, we had a comprehensive talk about moving and all the stuff that has happened. I asked him, what is the local Las Vegas native feel about not anyone who's coming to the Strip, not a tourist, not someone who's there on a buddy's weekend, but people who literally live in Las Vegas and basically never go to the Strip. If you're a Las Vegas resident, going to the Strip is like going to Pier 39. You only do it when you got friends in town. So how do locals feel about the A's coming to Las Vegas? And he said lukewarm at best. Like the city is just one big shrug. Like the business folks will be willing to do the business. These politicians who want to have their names attached to this movement, they're the ones who are pushing this through. But there is just no clamoring for the A's at all in the local Las Vegas fans who will be, part of the reason a team succeeds with all of those home games or not. You just can't depend on nothing but tourists filling up your ballpark 35,000 a night. You got to have a local fan base. So there is no local fan base that is clamoring for the A's in Las Vegas. Before you know it, all this baseball talk is going to sort of start to drift away, and football talk is going to come drifting back into the show, and I cannot wait for that to happen. Cannot wait for NFL season to get underway. We're going to be relaunching the Plus on September 1st in a big, big way. Really looking forward to that. I saw Dave Lombardi was writing about defensive line win rates. And this attaches itself to the conversation that we were having yesterday about Nick Bosa and how Nick Bosa in the next 2 weeks is about to become one of the highest paid players in the history of football. He's going to be the highest paid defensive player in the history of football. It's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 weeks because if you're Nick Bosa, you're not stepping on a practice field without a new deal. And if you're the 49ers, you don't want that to happen. You want that hunky-dory relationship to remain hunky-dory. One of the things that I think is going to spell a hunky-dory season for the reigning NFL Defensive Player of the Year, Nick Bosa, is Javon Hargrave's pass rush win rate. Dave Lombardi said that he's got the third best in football last year. Number one was Chris Jones in Kansas City, followed by Malik Collins. Then it was Javon Hargrave, who was winning pass rush win battles at 17%. The 49ers defensive tackles, writes Dave, combined for only 3 sacks all of last year. So an elite pass rushing addition at D tackle, it certainly feels like a puzzle piece that the 49ers needed to fill anyways. What you do to unleash Nick Bosa by filling in that piece, and then obviously Eric Armstead. Woo! This is going to be a fun football season for the 49ers. There's an awful lot of talk about defensive linemen these days, because Quinnen Williams, by the way, just got a mega deal with the New York Jets, 4 years, $96 million. He was spectacular last year. What is a damning note, though, on the New York Jets and a sequence of poorly run front offices is this note that came up and was spotted by Darren Ravel as he was tweeting the details of the Quinnen Williams 4-year, $96 million contract extension, is that he is the first Jets player selected in round 1 to sign a second contract with the organization since 2011. That was Muhammad Wilkerson. Wow. I mean, the first round one pick of the New York Jets to sign a second contract in New York since 2011. That's an awful lot of bad drafting, or not drafting for the team that you actually have. That's bad. That's bad, okay? It's bad. We are going to enter the chat here in just a little bit. Looking forward to that. Little Club Plus for you on the horizon today. Want to slip in a couple things in here, though, before we get to the back half of the show. Postman in Capitola. Thank you so much, Postman, for all your support and love. He said, I love that JT the Brick interview last night. That was an awful lot of fun. It was. The two of us had fun just chatting together. It was like an old conversation with an old pal, because that's exactly what it was. You know, we didn't plan a thing. We just turned on, hit record, and started talking. And it was great to catch up with someone who's just been a Bay Area staple for so many of you. I mean, a lot of your teenage, early 20 years were spent listening to JT the Brick, either on 1050 or Sports Fan Radio Network or Fox Sports or all the places that he's been. Mad Dog. The guy's just one of the hardest working men in show business. And our conversation was awesome. I whacked it up into a couple of things and videos that will be pushed out tonight and over the weekend. So you can either watch the full interview in its entirety, some of the best 45 minutes of sports talk I think you're going to hear anywhere, or you can wait for the highlight reels to come out over the next few days, and those are coming your way. Eric Johnson says, happy Friday. Sure enjoyed the JT convo last night as well. It's the new golden age when we're getting good content like that. Well, thank you very much, Eric. I'll tell you, one of the things we talked about was how the golden age of radio is over. And we are onto a whole new thing now, and hopefully we're getting better and better at it over here at the Plus. You need to be able to evolve with the times. And that brings me to our friend in the chat all the time, Legends Pizza, who says that they got creamy garlic chicken. Now, is that like an Alfredo, or is that like a creamy garlic chicken pizza? Because you had me at that, and then I scrolled down a little bit more, and I saw this. Korean barbecue is a top seller. Korean barbecue pizza? Let me tell you, Legends Pizza, I'm going to have to come down and get a slice of that. One of the best meals I ate last summer in Chicago was at a Korean Polish fusion pop-up restaurant, which in Chicago was perfectly named Kimski's. How perfect is that? Polish and Korean, call it Kimski's. It was great because when you think about it, Korean food is really like pork and cabbage. And what do you know? That's what Polish food is too. So bulgogi pierogies, like that works. And you can basically put any food that you think is delicious onto a pizza and it works. You know, Mexican pizza works. Seafood pizza works. Of course, Korean pizza would work. All right, Legends. I might have to give you the home address after all. We might need one of those up here. But I'm trying to lose a little weight too. So I don't the last thing I need is another go-to. Got to eat more of that in my life. I do have two last stories to get to. One's a cheating story, and then one is telling the truth on a whole bunch of people who would rather lie. So here we go. This first one comes from the grand old state of Tennessee. Did you see what happened to the Tennessee Volunteers football program? First of all, if I'm the Tennessee Volunteers football program, I don't think that there's any amount of discipline I could ever get from the NCAA that would bother me. I would just basically tell the NCAA, no. What are you going to do? You're the most feckless, powerless governing body in sports. We're the SEC. We got our own little fiefdom down here. We basically told the NCAA, we don't need you. And, but, you know, they still do have to, I guess, live under that NCAA umbrella. We haven't advanced too far into the future for that to be completely irrelevant. The Tennessee Volunteers avoided a bowl ban, but were fined more than $8 million by the NCAA Division I Committee on Infractions after finding more than 200 individual infractions committed by the school during former coach Jeremy Pruitt's tenure. And again, if they found 200, that means there were 400 of these things. If they found 200, there were at least another couple hundred that they never even glommed onto, right? By the way, that's rampant cheating. That's not just like, yeah, you go ahead, you get that running back in here at any cost. Like, you're 200 different infractions? Good Lord. So the team now has a 5-year probation period. The Volunteers are going to have to vacate all wins and individual records in any game in which the 16 individual sanctioned players participated, and the specific games will be announced later. 28 fewer scholarships. By the way, that is always my least favorite disciplinary tact. So we're going to give you 28 fewer scholarships to screw over a freshman class that had nothing to do with the cheating that we're accusing you of. I hate that. That of all the ways to discipline a team, taking scholarship opportunities away from kids in high school is one of the worst ways to do it, in my opinion. Tennessee charged with 18 level 1 violations. In July of 2022, included among the more 200 infractions were charges of $60,000 in impermissible benefits, and both Jeremy Pruitt and his wife Casey were making cash payments to players' families. Like, that's why Tennessee has to go down hard here. Like, you're not even trying to be discreet. If you got the head coach and his wife not even insulating themselves with any plausible deniability, but they're part of cash payments, like, that's even a little bit too bold for the SEC, right? Pruitt's received a 6-year show cause and would be suspended for the first full season of any team that would actually hire him. This guy's been out of football for a while now. And what's amazing is all the cheating that was done on this guy's watch, Tennessee was cheating its dick off, and they got nothing to show for it other than an $8 million fine because Pruitt went 16-19, and those 16 wins will be like they never even happened. So they got nothing to show for it. A guy who sucked as a head coach cheated his crank off to just suck as a head coach. Mwah! Gotta love sports. Oh, that was the sip of the day. That one hit. That absolutely hit. Like I told you, I wanted to tell you about a cheater, and then I just wanted to debunk a little lie because, you know, there are a lot of things, and we've talked about this a few shows in a row, that are always touted as the harbinger of San Francisco being a dying, decaying city that will never come back. Let me tell you, it was beautiful downtown, blue skies. There was nothing dire than decaying yesterday. What a gorgeous day. What a gorgeous city. I cannot wait to get to a Grateful Dead show tonight, and San Francisco is going to be one big collective hug inside a 24 Willie Mays Plaza tonight. It's going to be special. It's going to be emotional. I love it. I love San Francisco. We talked about how Anchor Steam is shutting down. And again, all the people who want to just trash San Francisco at any moment use this as another example, the way that they use the Westfield Mall closure. Even though Westfield Mall is closing malls in all 50 states, the one that was done on Market Street was the one that hit the front page of the New York Times. Another example of San Francisco dying. And again, I will be the first to admit we got our problems that feel a lot solvable, more solvable than they've been to the people in charge of solving these problems. But I saw a really good Facebook post coming out of the restaurant, brewer, bartender community about Anchor Steam. And I'm sorry I can't attribute to who wrote this. I saw it on my buddy Greg's Facebook page. And GQ is big time tied into the bar restaurant business. He says, on the closing of Anchor Brewing, it's pretty frustrating to see their press release take the typical San Francisco cop-out and blame it on high production costs to piggyback off people thinking that San Francisco is now in a state of decay. You know, they They sold most of their beer to bars and restaurants are dying in San Francisco. So this is, it's San Francisco's fault that for the first time in nearly 130 years, it can't support Anchor Brewing. Shame on you, San Francisco, is the way a lot of people were reacting to this story. Well, as this Facebook points out, really, what happened was a big, huge foreign business bought a local staple. They tried to brute force it through their own business practice. They failed galactically almost immediately and now have to liquidate a 130-year-old brand. Sapporo bought Anchor Steam. Thought Anchor Steam could be Sam Adams, a local brewery that goes national. Well, they changed the logo, which I think was one of their first huge mistakes, that iconic Anchor logo with the anchor and then the rope around it. They changed that to something that looked like a minor league hockey jersey. And I think for a lot of people, it started losing its appeal right there. And again, they tried to implement a business model that was never supposed to be the business model that lended success to Anchor Steam. So people seriously need to stop talking about how everything in San Francisco is only San Francisco's problem. This seems to be more of a Sapporo, Japan problem than it was San Francisco's. So I just wanted to point that out. I wanted to point out how much I've enjoyed this week. Thank you very much. One of the slowest weeks of the entire sports year went by pretty fast here, didn't it? Hopefully that means you're going to be back for more of what we do. Hopefully that means you have now found us and you plan on sticking around, hitting that subscribe button, hitting that like button, and becoming part of this community that we're officially building. It's not the biggest, robust community that I've ever seen on YouTube, but you know what? There are hundreds upon hundreds of people doing this every single day together and hanging out and chatting together. And it's incredible what we got going on. And again, it's the downtime. People are on summer vacations. We don't even have any football to sell you yet. And we've got a dedicated group showing up day after day. It means so much to me and Jillian and the entire family. Thank you very, very much for being as loyal and as wonderful audience members as you've proven yourselves to be time and time again, supporting me, supporting my sponsors, supporting the Ganja Jar. It means an awful lot, especially on a night where we're going to see a Grateful Dead show. Thank you for filling the Ganja Jar. You're all awesome. You're fantastic. And I thank you. If you missed that JT interview, you go ahead and find it. It's also up now in podcast form, so you can find it there. Hopefully you download it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you have a great weekend. In the meantime, before we get into Club Plus here on YouTube, I just want to tell everyone listening on the podcast, thank you so much for stopping by. And please do remember that sports don't build character, they reveal it. And like that, he's gone. Oh yeah. Here we go. Oh yeah. You know what I'm gonna do? We have Chef A said, love that interview with the brick, but then it just disappeared because you're all commenting on the back end of this. So I'm gonna scroll all the way back down and then I'm gonna work my way backwards. That's how we're gonna do it today. Are you ready? Here we go. Sip of the day. Give me my black and sign. Yeah, Club Plus is underway. Yes. We got Drew Down and Chris A saying, I'm in an open radio relationship. That's cool. That's cool. Again, I don't care where you work up your appetite as long as you're coming here to eat. Oh, boy. So people are, thank you very much. The JT the Brick interview was awesome. Thank you, Coach. I'm glad that you liked it. It was really good catching up with him, man. Love that guy. Love that guy, not just from a radio standpoint, but just a guy standpoint. He's been a huge part of my life. E. Scott Burns says Sapporo forcing its way on Anchor was its demise. Everything they did forced it away from its brand, and cheap efforts to throw a few bucks at a local brand were pathetic. Yeah, they were. They really, really were. That stunk. That stunk. And it hurt. What do we got here? We got our man, Yo Adrian. Sup, everybody? It's Friday. Too bad I'm stuck in a UPS package car all day. 98 freaking degrees outside. Where are you, over in the East Bay? Where is it? 98, 100 degrees right now in the Bay Area. I'm so glad I live in the fog belt in San Francisco, so it's never 70 degrees in my neighborhood, no matter what the rest of the state of California is doing. It's never more than 72 degrees in my neighborhood, and it's usually not sunny either. Pardon me. I went down the wrong pipe. Not the sip of the day. All I can tell you, Adrian, is I hope that you and your UPS drivers are doing well in your union spat. I see that we got actors now joining writers because basically all these streaming platforms have come and cut the hardworking people in show business so out of the profitability pie that, look, I mean, it's happening everywhere, right? It's just happening everywhere. In media, in entertainment, in your business, good people, talented people are getting fucked over from a salary standpoint, right to the point where they're laid off, and you just have greed and money being kept by conglomerates given to nameless, faceless stockholders and not the people actually doing the work. And the whole thing is enough to go make me want to bang my head against a brick wall. It really is. Gross. It's gross. Mike Antics 19. Plus worldwide, baby. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Tell us where you're listening from. Comment. Do it, baby. What do we got here? From the Postman again. Postman in Capitola. Damon, did you see that Northwestern fired their baseball coach as well this week? He would have been fired sooner, but they were dealing with the football mess first. Yeah, dude, what is going on at Northwestern and that athletic department's culture? They're flushing coaches who apparently got way too many games of grab ass going on in their locker rooms. What the hell is that, Northwestern? You're supposed to be like a proud, like Northwestern's supposed to be, the Big Ten's version of an Ivy League school, also competing at a very high level, although that very high level is rarely reached by Northwestern. And let's face it, they ain't an Ivy League school. Northwestern's a bunch of big-time fart sniffers about how great they are of an academic institution. They're good, but they're not the Ivy League. But yeah, I mean, what a kind of toxic mess their entire athletic department looks like right now. When I was in college, Northwestern was going to the Rose Bowl. Before that, Northwestern's athletic department mess just basically meant their football team was going to go 2-9 every single year in the Big Ten, and that's the one team Indiana might be able to beat. Like, that's what Northwestern used to be. Now you got a whole bunch of dudes grabbing dicks in the locker room. It's just not the way to go about team building. Let's see. Mike S. I've been defending San Francisco at every opportunity to my friends up here in Seattle. Look, here's the deal. It's one of those, there's no really even conversation to have, right? Like, so many people have decided that the talking point that they're going to be using is San Francisco is such a den of democratic failures and liberal policies and ideas that, you've got networks that base their entire coverage of the world in lies, going with that lie over and over and over again. And when you speak a lie enough times and on enough, kind of font point print that becomes headlines, people start believing it. What I cannot wait, what I really hope, like what I liked about the pandemic were all the douchebags who left. I hope they never come back. One of my favorite weekends in San Francisco is always the weekend of Burning Man, because a lot of the hippy dippies clear on out, and all of a sudden we get the city kind of just back to ourselves, the locals. It's great. I'm all for less congestion, fewer people in San Francisco, but that doesn't mean that the city is dying. It does not. A lot of things need to happen. A lot of things need to happen for things to be perfect around here. But again, it's also a city, and holding it to the standard of everything's perfect is literally an ask that no other city is asked of. Again, you'll hear so much about the crime in San Francisco and the break-ins and the this, the that, all this stuff. You won't hear a word about the crime in Fayetteville, Arkansas, which is per capita and per percentage much worse than in San Francisco. But no one's clicking on that article about how shitty it is to live in Fayetteville because no one ever said it was going to be awesome. So you just go back to the San Francisco sucks part of it. Otis Bird, my man right there, says, look, San Francisco's the best. I kind of don't listen to the negativity. Yeah, I'm biased since I'm a San Francisco native, but I'm confident San Francisco can rebound from all the stuff that's going on right now, and so am I. San Francisco has always been a boomer bust town throughout its entire history. That's not going to stop. It's never going to stop. And again, the people who will tell you how bad this place is, they don't have boots on the ground. They're not like John Dickinson. They're not here actually reporting on it. They're reading a sentence that some blogger, some tweeter wrote about, and then they're going to go with that. Do you know how many articles there have been written by people about piles of human crap in the streets who have never stepped in a pile of human crap in anyone's street ever, never, ever? But boy, it's a talking point they like to go back to over and over again. We got Legends Pizza saying it's hard to root for college sports. Baron Red says, I seriously dislike college sports. I don't. I love college sports. I always thought that a fairer share to the student athlete to compensate them for their time away from class, and that's what they're spending, an awful lot of time away from class while they're supposed to be getting an education, would have been a nice thing to do. I'm glad that name, image, and likeness is there. Let's be totally honest with the way that the business has boomed around major college sports for football and baseball and basketball. Well, basketball more than anything, and football. They should be paid like employees. You know, it's the amateurism was sold as this big special component of it when it really never was. You're rooting for a team, you're rooting for your alma mater, you're rooting for a town that you were from, and that's what it is. And you're still doing it. I mean, I love college hoops. I love college football. La profesora says, I went to a grad school at a major sports university, taught many students who were athletes. Those infractions happen all the time, but were mostly covered up and not caught. Tennessee, yeah, again, Tennessee isn't guilty of behavior that isn't happening all over campuses. They're guilty of being caught. That's how bad they are at it. Like Mitch says, imagine cheating at that level and still just totally sucking. That's brutal, right? It is. Irwin, upset. No bottle pulls today? No, not every Friday can be a bottle pull Friday. Daddy's got a couple of phone call meetings that he's got to hop on here when the show is over today, and he needs to be sober for those. You go ahead. You hit that like button, boys and girls. Not enough of it happening? Well, that's on you, not on me. I can't do that. You got to do that yourself. Let's see. I think I just scrolled past... I want to get to, well, first of all, we're going to say hello to our Twitch viewer, our single-digit amount of Twitch viewers. Look, that's where you go play video games. I don't play a lot of video games, so I'm not very popular on Twitch. I'm sure you can make the argument I'm not even very popular on YouTube, but we're working on that. Twitch, JJ Raider, we love you. Thank you. And I feel this way too, legends. San Francisco weather is my perfect temperature. Hoodie weather all year long. That's to me, that's what it's all about. I've always called it homecoming weather. Homecoming weather. You might need, you're gonna need a jacket, wear a sweater, wear a sweatshirt. That to me is the way to go. Liv talking about the Northwestern problems. He's like, dry humping other dudes is bad. What is that, a Reardon R on you, Liv? Let's hope they're not dry humping at Reardon. I can hear football practice, Reardon's football practice from my backyard. Go Reardon. Oh, what a perfect day to fill that ganja jar. Mike Antics, thank you very much. Uncle Boy's on me, and don't forget the lumpia. Well, I'm proud to say that when I go to Uncle Boy's, they don't charge me very much. So they're very, very nice to me. What you just did, Mike, was buy Jillian not a glass of wine tonight at the Dead Show, but like one of those carafes. Thank you very much. We're going to get Jillian a carafe of wine tonight because I'm dragging her to the Dead Show, basically. She knows a few Dead songs, but not like a woman who grew up in San Francisco should. Yo, a dry heat 101 in Vegas right now, going to be 118 on Sunday. Nathaniel, good, oh, God. I don't know how you do it. Adrian is saying that hot route in his UPS drive. He lives in Dublin, but his route is in Pleasanton. Yeah, that's crock pot cooking right there. That's hot. Thank you very much for the jingle jangle. I want to make sure I don't miss anyone's jingle jangle because I do want to say thank you whenever indeed that does happen. Again, we kind of tried to work backwards today, so now I'm catching up to where that journey started to see what I missed. What do we got here? Otis Bird III says, Damon, I remember that caller back to your 1050 days who went to Northwestern. I wonder how he's feeling about what's going on right there right now. You know, I'll tell you what, I wonder how Tim Kawakami's feeling. I wonder how Mark Purdy is feeling. They're Northwestern alums in the Bay Area sports community. I'm going to blame it on Kawakami. It's not true, Kawakami. Let's see what we got. Otis Bird saying thank you, Otis, for all you do. Kim Schaefer is saying that Charles Barkley perpetuates the San Francisco sucks narrative. Well, he is as wrong about that as he's wrong about every year he told you the Warriors weren't about to be NBA champions. Let's end with a true native San Franciscan evaluating things. Mrs. Plus herself. Everyone outside of San Francisco can continue to throw as much shade as they want. Stay away. We don't want you here. Indeed. Look at Jillian getting the last word in the show today. Money Green, lurking, working. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for lurking. Thank you for working. Thank you for making us a part of your day. Lev, it was a joke. Come on. Of course it was. We're all jokes. These are all jokes in Club Plus. We're all just hanging out. And here's what Jillian really needs tonight, beyond her own carafe. She says, I need Damon to last through the Dead Show tonight, so no whiskey before 4 p.m. Yeah, we're going to the bar at 4. We're gonna pregame for like 3 or 4 hours. Get into that show. Come in hot. Give me a hell in a bucket opener. Well, I was drinking last night with a biker, and I showed him a picture of you. I said, pal, get to know her. You'll like her. Seemed like the least I could do. I mean, I need a heavy dose of Bob Weir tonight. Heavy dose of Bobby. I'm so excited. I'm going to a Grateful Dead show tonight. Well, as close as you can get to the Grateful Dead. And it's music that I love. I'm going to cry a little tonight. What am I saying lumpia wrong? It's not lumpia. It's 2 syllables. Saying Damon's lumpia. Thank you. Doug, we'll try to get it right. Again, we can correct anything that's happening incorrectly in real time. I want to get it right. I never knew that. Lumpia. I'll just say it like athlete. I won't say athlete. Sometimes I put an extra in the middle of my athlete. It's athlete, not athlete. It's lumpia, not lumpia. And Tommy, I hear you. Dead without Jerry, no thanks. Look at it this way. It's the closest you can get to it. It ain't perfect. But if you're waiting for perfect, pretty good might pass you by. Here's what you got. You still got Mickey and Bill on the drums. You still got Bob Weir. And say what you want about John Mayer and all that, her body is a wonderland crap. That guy can play the guitar. Like John Mayer rips. John Mayer seriously rips. I didn't even want to admit that. I'm not a John Mayer guy. Dude, rip. He rips. Mitch saying, need that extra ganja for the dead tonight. Thank you very much. You need to be extra high to deal with John Mayer. See, that's what I used to say too. I had John Mayer jokes, Mitch. You see John Mayer in person, you can't walk away but saying anything like, dude, that guy fucking rips. Really, really good. Oh, I'm glad I stuck around for a little bit here. Oh, dude, Sporticus, you kidding me? 120 in Phoenix on Sunday? Sporticus, stay inside. Stay inside. All right, I do have to kind of wrap things up here, but real quick, look at this. Mike S. Jingle jangling $15.95. Wish I could get a Damon Brew sandwich for Mike, so here you go. Thank you very much. That is going in the ganja jar. That's going in the carafe fund for Jillian tonight. Postman says, is there any origin story how JT the Brick got his handle? Yeah, it was given to him by Jim Rome. Jim Rome said JT came, through his support, his sports takes down, like throwing bricks through windows or something like that. So it was JT the Brick. The Dead is at Oracle tonight? No. No, they're at 24 Willie Mays Plaza. Again, John Mayer is great, just not a fit with the Dead. Here's the thing. I would have said the exact same thing. I've seen John Mayer play with Dead & Company twice now. He's awesome. He's not up there ruining anything. He's up there really contributing. My favorite Dead & Company show was the one at Levi's. That was Phil's last time around on tour. And Trey Anastasio from Fish was playing kind of the John Mayer role of fill-in lead guitar player at the time. He also took the lead on Alabama Getaway, which I thought Fish was going to put into their repertoire, but never did. Oh, I'd like to see an Alabama Getaway tonight. Give me an Alabama Getaway. Oop, Ike is coming clean. Low key, I'm a John Mayer guy. Oh, by the way, that is Oracle. That's right. I told you he wasn't at Oracle because I think Oracle, I think Chase Center, you can't say Oracle without like I'll never call that ballpark Oracle. Ever. I can't. Oracle is in Oakland. It's where the Warriors used to play. I don't care how many times they put its name on 24 Willie Mays Plaza. I only call it 24 Willie Mays Plaza. Oh, wait, True Blue, sorry. We got True Blue. We had my wife with an itchy trigger finger. She accidentally timed you out. Oh, True Blue. I'll go tell Jillian. She's got to get more careful. Chef A. Damon, one of my gigs was working for Bill Graham Presents, catered a shit ton of rock shows, including the Dead. That's awesome. Chef A, thank you very, very much. Thank all of you very, very much. Boy, if you're at the show tonight, you see me and Jillian, please say hello. What an awesome group of people that we have here. Thank you so much for stopping on by and supporting us. Videos dropping all weekend long. We've been planning ahead here. Been loading up the shotgun, ready to fire. So a whole bunch of stuff coming over the weekend. Please go ahead. When you see it, click on it, like it, watch it. It means an awful lot. And thank you also very much for being a huge part of our lives over here. It means an awful lot. Have a great weekend. And please do remember that you don't need to go home right now. you just can't stay here.